Instead, I don't save US dollars. People say save money. I refuse to. I save gold and silver, which are God's money.
They traded 1.7 times the annual supply of silver in one day in order to keep the price down.
And then there was this huge war between, Robinhood, Reddit against GameStop. And the little guys kind of won, but they got their asses kicked. They tried it with silver and they couldn't do it because that's real money. Silver and gold are God's money. In 1971, August 15th, President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. Of course, I didn't hear about it because he is Tricky Dick. And he announced it during the television program Bonanza. And I was in Camp Pendleton, California, getting ready to go to Vietnam. So I kind of missed that whole program on TV show Bonanza. But I was flying in Vietnam when I realized that I didn't know anything about gold. And so I flew behind enemy lines and looked for a gold mine. And I walked up to this little Vietnamese woman who was selling gold at a gold mine in Vietnam. One problem was it was behind enemy lines now because we were losing our war, got our asses kicked. So I asked her, and I didn't know what gold looks like because in 1972, it was illegal for Americans to own gold. And I thought that was really strange. So my education was on the fly, that's what I'm trying to say. So I tried to negotiate this Vietnamese woman, the cute little thing, bright red teeth, because they chew betel nuts. And gold used to be 35 an ounce, and it was now floating around 50. So I thought maybe because I'm behind enemy lines, I have greenback, I have dollars. I was in a negotiating position. And she looked at me, and I don't think she went to Harvard or anything, but she just looked at me and she just laughed at my partner, not my co-pilot. And she goes, "Spot." I said, "What is spot?" And I was being educated. And what I found out a few days later, that spot means that's the price of gold all over the world. I mean, gold has a uniform price, which means it's real money. Then I realized that's God's money. If I get the atomic number and silver has an atomic number, the US dollar doesn't. So I became very, very suspicious of the US dollar. So our aircraft carrier group was a flying alpha carrier and went to Hong Kong. And I went looking for gold. I didn't know what it looked like. And finally, I found a South African Krugerrand, and I bought it. And then I found out I had to smuggle it into the U.S. like a criminal, because it was illegal since 1933, I believe, to own gold. And I thought, this is really strange, really strange. So I come back from the war. And thank God around 1974 or 75, I think it was Gerald Ford made gold legal for Americans to own. And I thought, God, this is really quite fascinating. And then I started looking at the dollar, then inflation hit and all this. I remember going, I think in the 70s and 80s now, I'd go into the restaurants and they would actually have to change the restaurant price every day. So let's say I go to my favorite Chinese restaurant, chow mein. The day before it was $1. Today it was now $1.50. And this whole, real life events got me to become a gold and silver bug. So ever since then, I don't save US dollars. People say save money. I refuse to. I save gold and silver, which are God's money. God's money has been here since the earth was formed. So I'm very happy to bring to the show today E.B. Tucker. He's written a fantastic book. It's called Why Gold? Why Now? And the reason I say it's a fantastic book is what the book does. It summarizes gold, why it is God's money, why it's more important today than ever before, especially with silver, gold, and now Bitcoin. And so I also started a gold mine in China. They took that. And I started a silver mine in South America. I still have that one. So I've been a gold and silver nut for a long time. So when I read Why Money, Why Gold, Why Now, I said, this is the perfect book for somebody who really wants to find out how you're being screwed. I mean, now what's real and what's fake? And the US dollar is as fake as it comes. So with that, E.B. Tucker, congratulations on a great book. I understand you wrote it in like 30 days or 20 days.
23 days.
Yeah, it's extremely well written. I mean, simple, clear, to the point, no fluff. So thank you very much. So what is your background? What gets you interested in gold?
Well, it's in the book. I talk about how I first got interested at $300 an ounce. I remember saying to my father, I think I'll get an ounce of gold. And he's like, why would you want that? What are you going to do? Buy groceries with that? I mean, it's functionally irrelevant.
2000, right?
2000, yeah.
Right.
And so I really thought about it, and I did not buy it. And then about 2 years later, a friend was buying Krugerrands, and I similar to you, I held the Krugerrand, and it was mesmerizing. And I saw the price going from 400, 450, 500, and I thought, why is this happening? And you talk about silver. This is a silver note. Remember, the dollars used to be exchangeable for an ounce of silver, and they also had a gold note. This was $20 for an ounce of gold. And so nothing has happened to gold over the years. It's only the money. And the subtitle of the book is The War Against Your Wealth and How to Win It. Right. And the only regret I have about the book, Robert, is I should have called the book The War Against Your Wealth, because people have all these misconceptions about gold, because in the media, they talk negatively about gold because gold needs to stay down in order to keep faith in the dollar high. So if you question the dollar, you'll say, why am I doing any of these things? I mean, you wrote an incredible book that impacted me in the 90s, which is when I was starting in my career. I'm not quite as young as I look. And I wonder, if you wrote that book today, maybe Poor Dad would be the smart one, because the Fed is trying to get you to do things that go against some of the things that you and I were fond of in the 90s, right? There's not a lot of point in saving if you get no interest and you lose 5% a year to inflation. I mean, you start looking at the system that we live in, and the war is against your wealth. And that's what we want people to see.
Right. And you can always learn more. So I really would recommend people getting your book, Why Gold, right now. And it really is a war against your wealth. And then, you
got to know what to do. You got to know how to win this war, right? I mean, we're not just in a Vietnam quagmire, right? We want to actually win this. And what we want to show people is that if you see what's happening, you can get ahead of this. You can see where this is going.
And the best thing right now is, that we have this war between Bitcoin. We have Peter Schiff on one side and Max Kaiser on the other side for Bitcoin. It's a food fight. And it's silver, gold. And, I shifted to Bitcoin. I still bought as much gold as I'm still buying gold. I bought some the other day because this guy had some 10-ounce bars where, kilos come in. And they're hard to get. I mean, it's really hard to get.
That's right.
And it's getting hard. I couldn't even buy silver the other day. I mean, this is 2021.
Well, what does that tell you?
Supplies are gone.
That's right.
And plus they're suppressing the prices.
People don't know this.
The prices.
Yeah, they don't understand how this works, Robert. So imagine if you go to McDonald's and there's a dollar menu, and they say you can get this item for $1. You order the item, and they say it'll be $3.50. Wait a minute. I thought it was $1. Yeah, that's right. That's the price. But if you want one, it's $3.50. That's how it works with gold. The price is $1,800. Oh, I'd like to have an ounce. Okay, it'll be $2,000. Well, wait a minute. I don't understand. And you got to wait 2 months for it. So why is the price $1,800? Well, that's just the price because we're able to financially engineer the futures market to keep the price low. But if you actually want an ounce, it's much more.
And then there was this huge war between, Robinhood, Reddit against GameStop. And the little guys kind of won, but they got their asses kicked. They tried it with silver and they couldn't do it because that's real money. Silver and gold are God's money. They couldn't mess with the market because the big producers out of the COMEX and, Tesla, Apple, Toshiba, Microsoft, all these guys who use silver kept the price suppressed. Now,
well, for specifics, just to back you up so you don't sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, they traded 1.7 times the annual supply of silver in 1 day in order to keep the price down.
And so idiots out there saving US dollars or pesos or yen or euro, get E.B. Tucker's book, Why Gold, Why Now? Because you're getting screwed. I mean, like, you know, like when people argue about gold over Bitcoin, I just quote, you know, Yogi Berra. When you come to the fork in the road, take all three. You know, I have all three. And right now I'm high on silver because it's the most suppressed. It's 50% below its all-time high yet. That's how they've manipulated the market.